Ladies, welcome to the Feminine Mystery. My name is Azalea Dawn, and on my channel I talk about leveling up, hypergamy, femininity, and everything you need to get into the relationship with the right masculine provider for you. So if that sounds right for you, then please check out the rest of the videos on my channel and subscribe if you like it. If you're joining me back here for another video, I'm so glad to have you back. Today's video is going to be all about why serious men don't cheat. Now, I think that when it comes to mindset and beliefs, it is so important what you believe to be true about the world, because a poor belief system is really going to keep you trapped in bad behaviors. It's going to keep you trapped attracting the wrong things to you again and again and again. So this video is not meant to be a crystal ball type of video. I cannot tell you what will and will not happen in your future, and if I could, goodness knows I wouldn't be making YouTube videos. I'd probably be, somewhere like pointing at Jeff Bezos and calling him poor if I had all the knowledge to everything that would ever happen in the world. Unfortunately, that's not the case. What this video is meant to do is provide a counter perspective. It's meant to help educate you and get you into the mindset of wealthy men who simply do not cheat. What are they like? What do they believe? What matters to them? And what kind of decision making are they undergoing, right? And recognizing that in people, getting to know that, getting to understand that, is going to help bring you out of this sort of trap of attracting all of this negativity and dysfunction and chaos that comes with low value men to you in the first place. If you want to start to attract more of what you want into your life, focusing on that, understanding that, and understanding what that looks like is so important to attracting more of what you want in the world. It's important to attract the kind of man that you want into your life. So that's what this video is going to be all about. Why a serious man would not be cheating at all, especially in the context of wealth and affluence. So if that sounds right for you, keep watching. So the first point here is that he married you for a reason to begin with. Now, one big difference in the mindset between low value men and high value, high net worth men, right? So when I say high value and high net worth, I'm not talking about, whatever sort of, especially in the Black community, we have a lot of these men who are sitting around on podcasts talking about how they're the ones who make six figures, they're high value. No. I'm talking about literal high net worth men who are $5 million and up, cash net worth, no real estate, right? That's the kind of man that I'm talking about when it comes to wealth and affluence, right? When it comes to how those men are making decisions, they are doing things and moving through their lives with purpose. There is a reason why they choose to do what they do. And when it comes to marriage and partnership, they do this with specific intentions, right? They expect to benefit from their marriage to you in some way, and vice versa, as they should. While in the low value world, or among people who really don't have that sort of decision making matrix, we are kind of conditioned to just let life do its thing, to meander, to bounce around, to explore, and to just crash land wherever you happen to wind up. And that's the kind of mentality that often keeps a lot of people stuck where they are. They aren't moving through life with any particular purpose. They are just living day to day, moment to moment, and ultimately playing musical chairs when it comes to partnership. They just happen to land where they land. That said, in contrast to this, truly wealthy men are guided by purpose, and they know why they're choosing to do what they choose to do. So there are all types of things that a man might be looking for when it comes to partnership with a woman. He might be looking for somebody who is going to be a great mother to his children. He might be looking to make sure that he has access to a beautiful, gorgeous woman who will provide physical intimacy for the rest of his life. He might be somebody who is not into the idea of being 40-something something, 50 something years old and still dating, going around trying to, pick up these random girls and trying to get their numbers, waiting 2 days for them to text back like, OMG, hi. Or something like that. He might be somebody who's looking for prestige. He might be looking for a woman that he can look up to. Or he might be somebody who's looking to connect to a culture that's very different from his and to get access to a new perspective. There are all types of value that you as a woman can provide to a man in his life. That said, he is looking for value. And when it comes to that value, he's not just going to let that go for somebody who's not bringing that or better. Next, he has a reputation and an image to uphold. Now, this is very important when it comes to understanding how affluent men and affluent people in general make decisions. In the affluent community, it's all about relationships. There are relationships that make money change hands. It's all about those relationships in these people's lives. Now, that can be within a family, for example, when it comes to a man that I used to date back in college, back in my undergrad. He had, a situation in his family with his inheritance. It was just a very open thing. They all talked about it. It was not just him on some sort of like narcissistic fantasy, God forbid. It was literally a thing in their family where his mother had a poor relationship with essentially her father, who chose to leave her out of the inheritance, and therefore he was working on his relationship with his grandfather in order to make sure that he would be included in the inheritance. And when it comes to, all of that, it's about appealing to those people's values, right? They want somebody who they think of as a good steward of money, as a good person, to be the beneficiary of their family's legacy, of their family's wealth. And that kind of dynamic is playing in the background of these affluent families. Now, even if he is somebody who is independently wealthy of his family, if he is self-made, right, he has other relationships, business partnerships, people that he knows in his personal network, where he, again, has a reputation to uphold. And contrary to popular belief, right, outside of, certain communities where there's a high level of dysfunction, let's say, there are plenty of other communities where, frankly, it's not good to be seen as a cheater, even if you're a man, right? A lot of men will look at these kinds of men and say like, oh, if that's how you're going to treat this woman who you said you loved, who you stood up on a stage and professed your love in front of your family, your friends, and God, if that's what you're willing to do to her, well, what are you willing to do to me? Because we're not sleeping together. Right? A lot of men are very sensible, very logical when it comes to that sort of thing. And they're not going to look at this person who is a liar and a cheater and expect the same man not to do the same thing to them. Right? So these sorts of dynamics play even into people's business relationships, their family relationships, their dynamics. And at the end of the day, what's important for you to understand is that wealthy men have an image and a reputation to uphold. They, unlike, low value men really have nothing to lose. High value men, on the other hand, they have a lot to lose, and they're not going to put that all on the table for some, random woman. Next, even when men do cheat, they seldom leave the wife. Now, this is just something that is important to understand when it comes to the value of being married, right? When it comes to being a wife, it's now no longer a question of, oh, is somebody just going to get tired and decide to go do something, or someone else right? No, now you have to get a divorce, and that seldom happens, right? Even if we look outside the affluent community, just at marriages in the United States, and we look at the numbers, right? I think it's quoted somewhere that as low as like 2% of the time, literally 2%, single digit 2%, 2% of the time, right, that a man is seeing, another woman, it's only 2% of the time that he actually decides to leave his marriage and actually marry this mistress. This is almost something that is rare as, being attacked by a wild animal. It is not a common occurrence. So when it comes to the idea that a man is going to, fall in love with somebody else, cheat on you, start, this entire relationship with them in the high, in the wealthy, affluent community, that is almost non-existent. It is not something that happens often. So even if there is something, going on where maybe people just don't know about it, that is going to be where that begins and ends. This man is... you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than him actually leaving you for another woman, especially in the affluent community. So I just wanted to put that out there. The numbers do not lie. And that brings us into my next point, which is that divorce is expensive, exhausting, and most importantly, embarrassing, right? Throw back to when I was mentioning how your reputation is everything. Divorce is not the ideal thing for somebody to have happen in their lives, especially for men. A vast majority of divorces are not even initiated by men. It fluctuates as far as the number goes, but it's quoted that somewhere between 80 and 90% of all divorces are filed, literally legally filed, by the wife, by the woman in a heterosexual relationship. It is really not something that men are looking to do as far as getting divorced. Now, besides the fact that it is incredibly expensive, because even if, let's say, he finds some legal loophole where he doesn't have to pay alimony, spousal support, child support, anything, right? Even if that were to be the case, lawyers are neither cheap nor free. So what he won't pay in spousal support, he will pay in legal fees. That is to be sure. Now, as far as his reputation, divorce is always messy. It is going to be the talk of the town how this divorce is going down, and that is again going to be something that can be damaging to somebody's reputation. People who are serious people, purpose-driven people, people who have a long-standing history in a particular community, they don't want to be publicly embarrassed like this. They don't want to be put out there and have all of this negative business about them put out there for other people to gawk at and speculate about. So it's just not the ideal outcome. A lot of men, especially who are more affluent, they practice something called consequential thinking, which literally means they think about the consequences of their actions before they act. Now, this isn't very common in low-value men because they don't have much to lose, right? The consequences for them are what? Maybe like 2 or 3 people don't like what he did, but who cares about their opinions? On the other hand, when it comes to men in the affluent society, right, men who have prominent positions in the world, men who have, a lot of people who look up to them, a lot of people who maybe are their employees or their leaders in their communities and organizations, right? You can't be embarrassed like that in front of these people. That is not an outcome that these people want to go through. So when it comes to the consequences of their decisions, because they have so much at stake, they do think about the consequences of their actions before they act, which is how they got so far in life in the first place. Finally, ladies, he is too old and too tired to play these games. Now, I really just had to be frank about this one, and if you've made it this far in this video, please consider leaving a like below. It really helps this message to spread to more like-minded women, and check out the rest of the videos on my channel as well. But to get back to the point here, he is probably too old and too tired to play these reindeer games. when you have a man who is a little bit older than you, especially if you're in your core dating years, you will get to the point, after the honeymoon phase of your relationship, where this man is probably 50 years old, right? He is somebody who is at this point tired. He is more than ready to settle down. Even if he was a bit of a late bloomer, somebody who wasn't, looking to get married until he was 38 or 40, right? If he is here with you at this point, he's probably old and tired. His knees are not the same as they were when he was 25. His back hurts, and he just wants to lie down at the end of the day and, be in the company of a beautiful woman. That's it. He is not looking to, go to a club or to, download all of these apps that he probably doesn't even understand at this point, right? He is not interested in swiping back and forth for hours a day. He's not interested in waiting 2 days for a response from some random college girl who's just like, OMG, like totally, yeah, oh my gosh, right? He's not interested in somebody who is like deadpan looking at him with no idea what did or did not happen during 9/11. Because yes, a 20-year-old literally just was not born at that point in time. Welcome to, 2023. Anyways, he is just too old and too tired to play these games. He is not looking to be single. He's not looking for anything like that at this stage in his life. And that is something that is important to understand. There are some men, especially low-value men, who they just never grow up. They get older, but they never grow. And this kind of guy, he's not one of them. He is more than his age. He is ready to settle down. He's ready to be settled down. He's been ready for a long time by the point that he is with you, right? And he is looking to stay that way. So don't think that you will have to play anywhere near the amount of silly games with a man like this. Now, ladies, that'll be all for me in this video. If you've enjoyed it, then please leave a like below and check out the rest of the videos on my channel. This has been The Feminine Mystery, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!